So picture this. A brand new electric car from a huge automaker gets revealed to the world for the very first time. But not at some flashy auto show. Nope, it's revealed in a government document. That is exactly what just happened with a new EV from one of General Motors' biggest brands in China. And believe me, it tells us a whole lot about where the EV market is headed.
You know how it usually goes, right? New car launches are all about these carefully planned teasers, huge press events. The goal is to build up as much hype as possible. But what if the very first look, the first real details, came from a source that's, well, completely unexpected and very, very official?
And that's exactly the story with the Wuling Bingo Pro. The first pictures and specs, they didn't come from Wuling. They came from a government filing published by China's Ministry of Industry and Information Technology. It was all part of the car's official homologation process, that mandatory step to certify that a vehicle is safe and legal to sell. Talk about a spoiler alert.
Okay, so now that the cat's out of the bag, let's figure out where this new car fits in. Who exactly is making the Bingo Pro, and where does it land in their bigger picture?
The brand here is Wuling, and it's part of this massive joint venture called SAIC-GM-Wuling, or SGMW for short. Now that GM in the middle, that's the key. This isn't some small startup. Wuling is General Motors' best-selling brand in China. That means any move they make has huge implications, not just there, but for the entire global auto industry. And this Bingo Pro, it's not just some random one-off model. It's actually joining a whole family of electric vehicles that are all under the Bingo name, and they are all aimed right at that super competitive subcompact market.
So the whole thing started with the standard Bingo. Then they added the bigger Bingo Plus, and after that, the more rugged-looking Bingo S crossover. And now, the Bingo Pro slots in as the fourth member of this growing EV family. It gives buyers another choice in a really strategic part of the market.
All right, so we know the backstory and where it fits in the family, but what does the thing actually look like? Well, the design takes what its siblings are doing and adds some pretty unique twists. The designers really went for a distinct look here. It's been described as having a round, egg-shaped body. It's this cool kind of retro-futuristic shape that will definitely make it stand out from all the sharp, aggressive-looking cars you see everywhere else. And when you look a little closer, you start to see the details that make up that whole vibe. It's got these totally oval headlights with a cool retro-circular light pattern inside. Then there's this high waistline that really emphasizes the body. And overall, it just has these soft, kind of billowy proportions. It manages to look friendly and modern at the same time.
Okay, so it has a unique look for sure, but what's it packing? What about performance? Let's dive into the technical details that this government leak revealed.
In terms of power, what we know is that it'll have a single electric motor up front that makes 65 kilowatts. For us, that translates to a pretty straightforward 87 horsepower. So clearly, this thing isn't built for the racetrack. It's engineered for city driving efficiency, plenty of zip for city streets and merging, but really focused on squeezing out every last bit of range.
So here's the breakdown of what we know versus what we don't. We know it's got that front motor, and we know it's going to use a lithium iron phosphate battery, which is a super popular choice for affordable EVs because they're durable and cheaper. But the big questions, the ones every single EV buyer asks, are still a mystery. We still have no idea what the battery's capacity is or what the official driving range will be. And what about size? Well, it's 159.5 inches long, with a wheelbase of 108 inches. What that really means is that it's sized perfectly to fit right between the smaller standard Bingo and the larger Bingo Plus. It's hitting a strategic sweet spot right in their lineup. So with all these details kind of floating around now, the next obvious question is, when can we actually see this car out on the streets? From what we can tell, the timeline points to an official debut, one from the actual company, sometime in the first half of 2026. And then, right after that, it's expected to launch in China. So, yeah, we still have a little bit of a wait before these are out in the wild.
And one last thing that's really worth noting, this is a practical car. It's a 5-door, 5-seat hatchback, which makes it a great option for small families or city dwellers. And, crucially, it's going to be built at SAIC-GM-Wu's most advanced factory, which really signals a strong commitment to quality and tech for this little EV.
So when you put all the pieces together, you get this fascinating picture. A practical, super stylish, and probably very cost-effective EV from a GM-backed powerhouse. Which leads to the big question. Is this little egg-shaped hatchback going to make a big impact in the world's largest and most competitive car market? The countdown to 2026 starts now.